Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say that I'm going to try and record this in one shot, although I think this is probably my 18th time trying that. Um, I'm about to take you on a journey through my 2 years at Royal Roads. Can you believe that we're almost done? It's very exciting. I have created this audio recording to share with you the many courses and learning opportunities that I have while completing the Masters of Arts in Education, Leadership, and Management. You can look at the website at your leisure, or you can listen to me go through it. Whatever you choose, I hope this gives you a better insight into who I am and what I have learned through ADLM. I am a wife, a mother, and a teacher and an educational leader. My love of children drew me to teaching. I work in a small First Nation school on the northern tip of Vancouver Island and have been the teacher in charge for the past 20 years. I feel my years of teaching have prepared me for the EDLM courses with the Royal Roads University. The past 2 years have been a roller coaster for me with some ups and a few downs. My husband got very sick in September of 2013, and we just about lost him. And then I lost my father, my dear father, later that same month. Some of the highlights, though, were winning a trip to Tahiti and Bora Bora, and being able to spend that time with my husband made it extra special. This past spring, we celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary, and we took the kids to Shanghai, China. Throughout these 2 years, I have focused my studies and worked hard to connect my learning at Royal Roads to my life experiences. So this is me in Bora Bora, getting ready for an evening to go out. This is in Shanghai. Um, this is in Shanghai. We contacted Alex when we were there, but she was unfortunately not able to meet us. And this is from the highest building in the world that was open at the time. Another picture, this is Matira Beach in Bora Bora. And the last one is my husband and I in Bora Bora. It was an amazing time. All right, I shall continue my academic journey. How did I get here? Well, I am from a small town in Port McNeill, and I went to the big city of Victoria. Although the actual trip to Royal Roads was only a 7-hour drive, the academic journey that I was going to take at Royal Roads was 2 years, which we all know. It was an exciting, scary, and often the most challenging experience of my life. Throughout this journey, I have used the relationships that I have built with the cohort members to enhance my learning experience. Some cohort members have become lifelong friends, and I feel that we will continue to support each other over the coming years. Although I didn't speak to everyone on a regular basis, I do feel that we have stayed generally connected through the posts and discussions on Moodle, and since we were all working collectively towards the same goal. Just wanted to include two pictures, one of our whole group and another one of the group that went through Hatley Castle. All right, try not to make you sick as I move around to my website. Residency 101, or 100, 501 and 510. 501, Leadership for Learning. This was my first introduction to master's level learning. Looking back at 501 Leadership for Learning, it had provided me with an in-depth look at how my role as an educational leader has changed. I was introduced to terminology that was new to me, such as transformational and transactional leadership roles. I began to understand that I am more of a transformational leader than a transactional leader, and throughout these 2 years I have focused on utilizing this knowledge while moving forward with my staff. I remember our Team C presentation. It was a lot of fun. Reviewing the reflection writing piece I completed for 501, I noticed the improvement in my writing and my APA usage, which I think we've all agreed that has changed. I used a quote in my writing that said, "Begin with the end in mind," and this is often something I use quite often while I was making the papers. I would always think that they're due Sunday, so I better just know what it's going to look like and get there. 510, Research for School Improvement. This was our first introduction to the realms of research that we would be conducting. This course utilized information that we would return to time and time again. Qualitative and quantitative data became terms that were forefront in our mind. Creating a school audit of our own school allowed for growth and understanding of the uses of data and how data becomes useful to the school community. So here's just a few pictures of residency that we had. Met some great friends, and for everyone that was there, I really truly enjoyed it. It was a pleasure getting to know all of you during those 2 weeks, and I hope to see everybody at graduation. I'll let you look at that on the website if you like to. So, our online years journey begins, year 1, 5:30. Now there's no pictures in this, so I'm just going to be reading and putting a little few notes in. 5:30, Planning for School Improvement. This course was the first real look at interpreting data. Summarizing data and creating a plan for school improvement based on the readings and discussion groups was interesting. We had to look outside of our own facility and began to understand how data can be interpreted. This was our first assignment that was completely online, and we were assigned to groups. Time zones, schedules, writing styles, and leadership roles became a challenge. However, with flexibility, understanding of each other's strengths and weaknesses, and a lot of laughing, we managed to work quite well together and begin to build stronger ties with our cohort members. 540. Building and managing the school community. Throughout this course, it allowed me to really look at the opportunities and missed connections that I had with my school community. Creating a comprehensive list of individuals who would be willing to contribute to our school was a seed that was planted for my major research paper for 610. Understanding the importance of working together, creating action team partnerships with various stakeholders, and working towards common goals for the school is essential. While completing this course, my own school was working through their First Nations Schools Association school assessment process. I was able to utilize various aspects of the reading materials found in School, Family, and Community Partnerships, Your Handbook for Action by Epstein. Communication for Learning 550. As an educational leader, I found this course to be extremely useful. Communication is done in many forms. There's verbal, nonverbal, written, tone, there's all sorts of things. And understanding how we can communicate for learning is essential in our schools and when communicating with staff. The SMART goals that I created for this course allowed me to connect with parents and staff members. I continue to utilize these goals to help improve my communication skills. All right, year 2. I just broke them down into 2 things. So this here is my class, 560. Leading in Technology Mediated Environment. This is one of my favorite courses. Learning about technology and how it affects our schools, students, and staff was essential as we move forward and bring in additional technology into our schools. Understanding security, changes, and ways to implement technology responsibly in our schools was a great tool as an educational leader. This is a poem I wrote to express my learning of 610. There once was an instructor named Rob, who was often referred to as Bob. He opened our eyes to the digital surprise of TMEs in our world. Leadership and change is now ingrained within our newfound scope. To keep ahead of the pack, you cannot look back, since change will always happen. Be careful where you tread and think of your digital footprint instead, as a way to make changes for the future. To understand your needs, a soft system is wise, with a catwo and presence and a team by your side. Through logic and research, inspiration will come. To make change for children is reason number 1. 570. Curriculum Instruction and Assessment. During the EDLM journey, the understanding of each course and how it relates to our own experiences, or how it can relate to our future experiences, was important to keep in mind. Throughout 570, it was evident that this was, for me, one of the most important courses. Formative and summative assessments and how to balance assessments is crucial when implementing curriculum. Understanding what we teach and how we assess information is essential when working towards student growth. 580. Supervision for Learning. As an educational leader in a small school, it became increasingly more apparent of the time that is needed to effectively provide supervision for learning for my staff. Being able to create an action plan for professional development that supports the teaching staff to create a professional growth plan was beneficial. However, due to the limited amount of time I have available to spend with my teachers, this action plan has not happened. I still intend to implement this next year if I am still at my school. 610. Leading and sustaining collaborative inquiry processes. After many conversations with cohort members, debating with myself, and ensuring that the process would be worthwhile for my community, completing my major research paper on Kwakwala language immersion was an extremely valuable experience. Knowing the process and the components involved in completing a research paper, literature review, change management, and action plan will allow me to utilize these skills in my leadership role. The button text in the header will take you to my visual representation of my major research paper, which is just up here. Take you to the Prezi. And last but not least, 525, Developing Leader Capacity Through Reflective Practice. Knowing ourselves. Through this reflective practice, it was evident that I had many roles in my life. From a wife, a mother, a teacher, and an educational leader, the expectations that individuals have on me keeps me quite busy. Completing the Myers-Briggs type indicator, it became clear to me that my true characteristics are and why and how I can use my strengths and weaknesses in my life. One characteristic that was noted was that I need affirmation from others. Although previously I was unaware of this in my character, as I proceeded through this program, it became increasingly evident that this is a trait that I needed to be fulfilled while working with groups, and I thank everybody in groups that did that for me. It also stated that I was flexible and spontaneous, which I find to be true. Through this program, I feel that I've been very flexible with people and schedules and is willing to jump in where needed. My personal life follows the same as well as my professional life. Knowing ourselves as leaders. Assessing myself as a leader, or as a learner, sorry, knowing myself as a learner was interesting, and utilizing the VARC inventory. It stated that I had a multimodal learning style. It seemed that the majority of individuals that I spoke with regarding their VARC inventory often had the same style of learning. I wonder if this was common in teachers and educational leaders. I do learn best when I engage in a variety of ways. While listening to an instructor, I will take notes, draw pictures, or ask questions for clarification. I often feel that I will adapt my learning style to fit my instructors. Knowing ourselves as educators. I've always wanted to be a teacher, from as young as I can remember. It's a profession that I wanted to pursue. Taking the teacher perspective inventory, my dominant area was nurturing, which is why I feel I'm drawn to teaching. Although I haven't taught young students, in which I often think nurturing happens the most, I'm drawn to them through my leadership role. Engaging with students on a daily basis is the best feeling when you are an educator. Development was the next highest. Asking inquiry questions is key to learning. Giving students wait time is essential to learning, which is a skill that I have learned to master working in First Nation schools. Through this process, I'm able to note areas that I could work towards to make myself a better educator. As with each module 525, another assessment tool was used to reflect on our personal growth. The Educational Leadership Self-Inventory allowed me to reflect on myself as an educational leader. I had some strengths and I had some weaknesses, but in all, I noticed that I was definitely some things that I wanted to work on, and I felt that the program allowed me to do that. Moving forward as an educational leader. Currently, I am unsure of my future at my school. There is changes happening within the community, and the clarity of my position is still unknown. However, I feel that as I ponder what my future will be, I'm excited to take the next steps with the knowledge that I have gained in the EDLM program. I believe that I will continue to be a leader that is open to listening to others, work cooperatively, and is not afraid to make changes which will improve student learning. I am thankful for the time that I was able to spend working on my master's, my cohort for supporting me, and the instructors for their knowledge and guidance over the past 2 years. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to me or to look at my website, and I look forward to hearing from everybody on June 24th. Take care and have a wonderful summer.